Now, a lot of you are starting to return to the office this summer. Things feel a little bit more back to normal. You'll probably be going back soon if you're not back now, and that might mean more traffic on the roads, especially during rush hour. Now, if you live in Vancouver and you work in Portland, or really vice versa, then you know what I'm talking about. That commute alone, that's one of the worst ones. It can be more than an hour on a bad day. So what if you, instead of sitting on a bridge in traffic, could sit on a boat, a ferry in the water? Starting next summer, that could be a possibility. The Frog Ferry, you remember that, right? It's going to start running between St. John's and downtown Portland. But they eventually want to make it go even further, from Vancouver all the way down to Oregon City.
We got to get cars off the roads, and really you don't have to build out the river. That infrastructure is here. So from a time and cost perspective, a ferry is incredibly efficient.
Building a river would be a lot harder. Next summer's route between Cathedral Park and downtown Portland is a 3-year pilot project, but the effort to get ferries back on the river have been going on for some time.
So, how did we get here? Well, first, indigenous tribes living in this area used dugout canoes to transport people and goods for hundreds of years. After white settlers came along, Switzler's Ferry started traveling between Hayden Island and Fort Vancouver. It was followed by many others starting in the 1850s. The Stark Street Ferry, Boone's Ferry, Shoals Ferry. You might recognize some of them as street names. But they went out of business as bridges were built. Oregon has had more than 500 passenger boat services in its history. Now, there are only 3. But in 2006, the city of Portland conducted a ferry service study and decided it wasn't a great idea.
The conclusion back then in 2006 was it would cost significant amount of money. It would require more subsidy than buses or light rail require.
But that was in 2006, when the city was smaller and traffic was a lot lighter. The Frog Ferry was first proposed in 2017. Portland's Bureau of Transportation asked City Council for money to study the feasibility of a ferry service, but the council rejected that request. But last year, the Frog Ferry got a $240,000 grant from ODOT and PBOT to conduct the study. It estimated that the ferry would cost at least $40 million in upfront costs and require $2.6 million in annual subsidies. And that's how we got here.